It's a beautiful bacon day, Cookie Crusaders. Today I want to come to you with a video about toppings. And it's not your traditional toppings such as solid almonds, searing raspberries, and Swift chocolates. Today instead, I'm going to be talking about peanut toppings. You heard me correctly. Peanut toppings. The reason I'm talking about these today is that they have a lot more potential than has been seen, and we've been running tests to make sure and confirm this to understand how they can be beneficial and how they can be powerful. Now, I do want to stress that peanut toppings on their own, with just HP, it's not necessarily super strong. The reason for that is because damage resist and defense are still an important part of how peanut toppings work. Now, to show you, dark chocolate has 164,000 HP with 52,000 defense. That's just the base stats. Now, this is because of my monuments, my bonds, my research lab, all of that. So don't worry if your stats don't match that. That's the reason why. But this still all applies accordingly at your levels in comparison to other cookies that are using the meta, such as solid almonds. Now, this was the best set I could put together on this. 30% damage resist and 4% HP and 1% defense, just because I want to compare from one side to another HP, defense, and damage resist. So you can't just do one and expect it to be as equal and fair as some of the others. So, on the peanut topping side, I have 49% before the set bonus on HP. I have 13% damage resist and 4% defense. So, it's almost, with the set bonus, triple the amount of damage resist on the solid almonds. And it's more than, probably more than 10 times the HP bonus. And the reason for that, if you look here, HP, you can only have a subset of 1 to 3%. So if you max out solid almonds that have HP perfect on their subset bonus, you'll have a maximum of 15% HP. Where on solid almonds or peanut toppings, you can have a maximum of 6% damage resist, which means you can have up to 30% of a substat, not including any set bonuses or base bonus. So the maximum damage resist you can have on solid almonds is 51% if you just do a solid almond build. Where the maximum HP bonus you can have on peanut toppings with set bonus is 70%. So you have a higher percentage just to start for that reason. That's already one reason that I was like, oh, this is interesting. This is something we should explore. But more importantly, it cannot be without damage resist and defense for it to make a difference. And let me show you how. So just keep this in mind. 230,000 health, 169,000 health. Okay? I'm going to go into story mode, 830, and I'm going to edit this for attack speed because I want him to be done as quick as possible. And we will start with peanut toppings. Alright. So 230,000 health. We're just going through, attacking as normal. High level scroll, high level robes. We're just going to push through the enemies super fast. Now, one thing that can skew these odds, but we don't really have the ability to run that many simulations in this video, otherwise it would be too long, is the fact that critical hits can happen. So keep in mind 10, 20, 30,000 damage differences could be critical hits. We won't test that this time. We'll just compare one run to one run, because there's a chance both of them could have criticals, or both of them could not. So we'll see. But I have run many of these simulations to know if it's likely to be critical damage or not. Because I did want to test this before bringing information to all of you, so that you had proper understanding of how these toppings could work. Now, I'm not necessarily saying there's anything wrong with the meta of searing chocolate and salt almond, but I still want to show you the potentials that you have for other toppings and other designs for your cookies. So if you see right here, we took 44,422 health. And we were equipped with the peanut toppings. So that means we were down at that point to about 199,000 health. We took 44,000. Now, if we go here, and we equip the solid almond toppings, don't forget we start with about 169,000. So we're already 30,000 net plus on our starting base HP of what we had left from the peanut toppings and taking our damage. So we're already 30,000 ahead for that reason. But let's see in comparison how much damage we take and how much it would probably last just with a solid almond build. And yes, I am running peanut toppings full time on DC right now. Even in guild boss fights, he's lasting longer. It's very interesting. Very cool to see. So I have a lot of hope for perfected peanut toppings, which I'm working hard to get to. It's not easy, but I'm definitely working on it. In fact, any specific topping, getting to re-perfected substats is just very difficult altogether. But it is something I'll be covering of recommendations and builds in later videos. Okay, we are almost done with the salt almond run so that we can compare the stats together between the HP loss and how much damage we overall took. Okay. So we took 33,292. So we have nearly triple the damage resist, almost equal amount of defense, but yet we took still a pretty substantial amount. We took 33,000. That would bring us down to 136,000. So that means that's a 60,000 HP difference between the two. Now, if I get the solid almonds to maybe 15% HP, it would be a little bit closer. But in the end, the peanut toppings still have a much higher amount because of the difference it makes. And that's only because he's a high HP character to start. You can't use this on every cookie. And there are certain cookies that I feel benefit from this more than others. One of them is going to be Pom Pom. Here's why. Her base stats, not a necessarily huge amount of HP. That is true. However, the skill that she has, Pom Pom specifically gets extra attack, defense, and HP directly of pumpkin pie. So for instance, her skill right now has 382% HP of hers. So that would be about 200,000 HP for Pom Pom. That's pretty good. Now, if you pump her up with 70% HP, you now have 150,000 HP pumpkin pie, which means you have a nearly 500,000 HP Pom Pom that comes into the battlefield, which I think that's pretty cool. Pretty cool overall. And there are other cookies I'd probably recommend. I think one of them would be Holly Berry, because she starts with 200,000 HP. So a 70% boost on that would put her to almost 350,000 HP, which is a pretty big number when it comes to arena battles. So there's other toppings I will be covering and other anti-meta discussions to come. And I will touch on the meta as well, so that way we can compare them all correctly. But anything you guys find interesting about this, any likes, subscribes that you want to do to help out the channel, that way I can continue to make content, it's all appreciated greatly. Either way, we hope that you found this video helpful,